providing resources and comfort to caregivers. This is Caregiver Crossing.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Caregiver Crossing, and thanks for being here. If it's your first time joining us, I always feel like maybe you want to know. Caregiver Crossing is a show brought to you by Joy's House, presented in partnership with Cardon and Associates, and we are here every single week to talk all things caregiving. I am Tina McIntosh in studio with
Noah Taylor.
And we want to start, first of all, happy June.
Happy June. It's almost summer.
Dude, I mean, it's like happy 2025.
Really, though, this year has flown by.
Is this what happens?
I think so.
The whole time flies thing is real. Yeah, so happy June. Sorry, I just went into a little bit of a state of shock with that. But do you know what June is?
I don't know if I do.
It is Intergenerational Day.
Oh, June 1st?
Yeah, and
Wow.
so it's a day that was created to bring both, younger folks and older adults together, and it's working. I mean, this is a thing that was started by students in Canada way back in 2010, and it's now recognized in cities all over the world. And the goal is really to talk more, to share more, and to spend time together.
This sounds so perfect for us and everybody here at Joy's House. I mean,
Yeah.
we really talk about this a lot.
Well, I mean, let's be honest, intergenerational, when you think about that, particularly as I would say any age adult, because I've now been ages, 0 to 53. But you bring in, I always say at Joy's House in particular, which is where we are. We're in the Joy's House studio, not-for-profit adult day service and caregiver support. And I always tell people, you bring in with our older adults here at Joy's House, a puppy or a baby, and you're in.
Who were we just talking to that was telling us to look up videos of babies laughing?
Oh. I think it was Terry who was saying that.
Yeah. I think that's so special. I mean, just being able to see the smiles, I think really is important for our guests here.
I agree. And, this conversation, Noah, matters because aging in place isn't just about we talk about like grab bars and ground floor, bathrooms and a setup of things. But it is obviously there's so much more to life as we get older. And it's about, feeling heard and included and seen. And I think that's really important. And you said that when we were talking about Joy's House recently, our adult day service, that you want people to feel seen.
Absolutely.
And I think that's really all any of us want.
Right. We just want somebody to hear and somebody to say that, our words matter, that we matter.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, there is a great book out there by Richard Rohr that you've heard me talk about before because Rohr is a hard word for me to say. R-O-H-R. Can you say it better than me?
Roar?
Oh, that's so much better.
Was that good?
Yeah. No, I'm terrible at it. We'll call him Richard R.
Yeah, Richard R. That sounds good to me.
In the book, it's called Falling Upward. And he talks about the first 40 years of our life is really about climbing, making our way, planning, dreaming, really kind of scratching the surface of who you're going to be. And then the next 40 plus years is really about what do I want my legacy to be? What is my faith or my not faith? How can I give back? And it is about kind of reaching back into, to hit on this intergenerational, reaching back into younger adults and kids and helping to teach them and lift them up, which we see in patterns in our own lives, right? With grandparents or professors or neighbors, whoever it is. But the hazard that comes with this intergenerational work that happens is that so many times those of us who are on the second half of our life, who are falling upward, so many of us want to tell you, the younger generation, what you should do and how you should do it, instead of recognizing, I can tell you what happened in my life, but that doesn't mean that's how you have to do it.
Right. And I mean, so many things have changed too since you were that age. I think it's important to offer guidance, but maybe saying, this worked for me, but, maybe something different works for you.
Yeah. One of my best friends always says, let me tell you how I did it. You can do it however you want, but let me tell you how I did it. And I'm like, I need to
That's
just put
perfect.
that into my,
Yeah.
vernacular, I think is the right word to use there. But the hazard is we tell you how to do it and we kind of squash you instead of saying, you know what, you do it your way.
Right.
And I can't wait to see how well you do it.
Oh, I love that.
So I think, for when we're talking Intergenerational Day, which is really cool that it's being done, There are several ways to celebrate, and I think I saw you just pulled them up. So I'm going to let you take these.
Absolutely. So I think I'm going to be doing one of these today, but ask your neighbor who's been on the block the longest to tell you how it used to be, tell you what the neighborhood was used to be like, tell you how things have changed, how the city's changed over the years, or maybe even what they've done has changed in the community. Invite an older family member to dinner, and most importantly, let them pick the music.
I love these.
And then the last one I've got pulled up here is to share a skill. Maybe teach a teen how to change a tire, or ask a kid how to use the latest app. I will say I was just at the Glendale Library last week, and they were telling us about some program they offer for senior adults, and it's somebody who works at the library, maybe my age, a little bit younger, who teaches a computer and phone class to older adults at the
So
Glendale
smart.
Library there. Yeah, it's a free class that you can take. And they actually do a little bit of outreach too at some senior communities where they go out and actually teach some older adults how to use the computer and use some different apps on their phone.
Yeah, I mean, these are easy things to do. I love. So you're going to ask your neighbor who's been on the block the longest to tell you how it used to be?
I think I will.
I think you should.
We've got a beautiful, diverse neighborhood, and I bet there's so many great stories just waiting to be shared.
Oh, no, I'd do it. That's really cool. I do love the invite an older family member to dinner and let them pick the music. Are
Right.
you kidding me? Like, that's so cool
They've
and so
got the
simple.
best music.
Anyway, all right. So here are some fast facts for you. There are three of them. One, people of all ages report less loneliness after spending time with someone from another generation. That's kind of mind blowing to me. Two, intergenerational friendships are linked to lower stress and longer life. And three, you don't need to be related to feel like family.
I feel like that one's so important,
Yeah.
and I think that we emphasize that a lot at Joy's house too.
We do. I mean, let's be honest. There are family members that I would choose to not be in my family, and I will invite the rest of you in.
I'd rather to choose somebody else, right?
Yeah. And there's a thought to carry with you is sometimes the best way to age well is just to hang out with someone who hasn't yet.
Someone who hasn't aged yet.
Yeah. So just, hang out with somebody of a different generation. And so I know we're going to have to take a break here in just a second, but I do want you to know that you can find past episodes of the show at caregivercrossingradio.org, and be sure to like and follow us on Facebook. If you'd like to connect with us to talk about, it doesn't matter, show topics, you want some help, you have some advice to give, connecting with resources, anything, you can reach us at 317-254-0828, or you can email me directly at tina@joyshouse.org. Again, I'm at tina@joyshouse.org. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you as a service of Joy's House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. With locations in Broad Ripple and near the University of Indianapolis campus, Joy's House provides exceptional day services for individuals living with a life-altering diagnosis and compassionate support for family caregivers throughout the community. At Joy's House, we believe that everyone deserves to live their best life, regardless of their abilities. Learn more about our adult day and caregiver support services by calling us at 317-254-0828 or by visiting joyshouse.org today. All right, stick around, everybody. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after the break.
Optimize your nutrition this year with Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal service. Factor's fresh, never-frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. Choose from 40 weekly options across 8 dietary preferences, like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Eat smarter at factormeals.com/listen50 and use code LISTEN50 for 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Factormeals.com/listen50. Code LISTEN50.
Craving your next action-packed adventure? Audible delivers thrills of every kind on your command, like Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, where a lone astronaut must save humanity from extinction, narrated with stunning intensity by Ray Porter. From electrifying suspense and daring quests to spine-tingling horror and romance in far-off realms, unleash your adventurous side with gripping titles that'll keep you guessing. Discover exclusive Audible originals, hotly anticipated new releases, and must-listen bestsellers that hook you from the first minute. Because Audible knows there's no greater thrill than the one that speaks to you. Discover what lies beyond the edge of your seat. Start your free 30-day trial at audible.com/WonderyUS. That's audible.com/WonderyUS.
We're back on Caregiver Crossing. Again, I'm Tina McIntosh in studio with my co-host today and my lovely producer.
I am Noah Taylor.
And we are really, it's hard because I feel like every segment it's like, we're really excited to bring to you. But this
is a very special guest today.
Yeah. And she's been a friend of mine and a friend of the industry and of Joy's House for, 143 years. So this is absolutely somebody that we adore. And let's just bring her in. Emily Tisdale.
Hi.
Hey. Glad you're here. So Emily is a lot of wonderful things. She is the new executive director at the Center for Aging and Community at the University of Indianapolis, who are partners of ours. And she has spent her entire career making life better for older adults and the people who care for them. And so she is a great leader. She is compassionate. She's brilliant. She's beautiful and funny. What else am I supposed to say? Other words? I've got them.
I'm never leaving here.
We never want you to leave here. And she has helped to shape programs across Indiana. So we're really happy to have her in our circle here at Joy's House. And so she's here today to talk with us about a program called Stepping On. And it's a new fall prevention. Excuse me, allergies. Noah, do something. Help me.
I'm sorry.
It's a powerful new fall prevention program that's already changing lives. And so we're just happy you're here and doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Oh, I'm thrilled to be here.
All right. So let's talk a little bit at first about what the Center for Aging and Community is at the University of Indianapolis. So if we were, let's just say we have allergies and we're really sleepy today, how would you explain what it is you do?
Well, I would say the easiest way for me to share what CAC is and does, because it's so many things, and I've loved CAC before I joined them. But the easiest way to really understand it overall is that we are the research, project management, and consulting arm focused on all issues community and aging that work on behalf of University of Indianapolis.
And not just here in Indy, right?
Exactly.
Like you will help anyone, anywhere with a project that fits the skill set that you all have.
Yes, like geographically we're located here, but obviously the issues with community and aging are everywhere. We have some, big initiatives and obviously a large focus to start in our backyard first. There's a lot of work we have to do in Indiana and, Indianapolis, but literally right before here, I was on a call with our friends in Austin, Texas, who are working to make older adult quality of life better. So we love being parts of those conversations and thankful that they trust us to help move that work forward.
Well, it all makes good sense. I mean, you all are the experts in this area, and there's a program that you've just launched called Stepping On.
Yes.
What is that?
So this is so interesting to me. So being from the industry on the provider side and then working with residents and long-term care communities, from that side of it, I would see all of the prevalence of falls. Otherwise, incredibly healthy people, and you probably know them, they have a fall. Maybe it's wintertime and they're walking down the driveway just to get their mail, and all of a sudden they fall. And it changes everything. We've seen that. And so we know that fall prevention helps lots of things. So stepping on, as I stepped into my CAC role, this was one of the larger initiatives that we've been working on. So we are working throughout the state, and then most recently with our friends over at Anthem on providing stepping on classes throughout Marion County and then surrounding counties right now to pilot this. And so I think it's something crazy like 1 in 3 older Hoosiers experience a fall. And so while I knew, and you probably knew, that rate was high, I I didn't know it was 1 in 3, which kind of changes it a little bit. And then
it is life changing. I mean,
is.
it's something I hear older adults say all the time. Like, it is their fear that they're going to fall, and then they get hospitalized, and then you hear about pneumonia. Like, it is kind of, I don't know, it's like a precursor to things to come that is life changing for folks. And so
Yes.
you're right. There's simple stuff that people can do, and I'm sure learn through your program. And so, how did
Right.
that happen that you all got hooked up with Anthem then?
So we love our friends at Anthem. They're fantastic. We've had different ways that we've collaborated over the years, and with some of the changes that we've had and just our infrastructure and how patients are taken care of, it made sense for us to work together on the Stepping On program. So when we, obviously Anthem is an insurance provider, and there's lots of things that they work on, but I think in particularly, we were moved by Anthem's viewpoint on it, where they wanted to be proactive about preventing falls. So one of the stats that I read as I got a little acclimated to this role, and then our engagement with Anthem and CAC as a whole with the Stepping On program, is that so unintended falls are, and I'm trying to remember this, resulting injuries. It's the top 3 reasons that people land in the ER. And so that's
Well, let's think
crazy.
about that.
Top 3?
Yeah. So one of the top 3 reasons people land in the ER is because of a fall.
Unintended falls.
That's
So,
incredible. And you know
yeah.
what I've heard more and more about is stair accidents.
Right. And so when we think about like people downsizing, they don't want stairs.
Right.
So
I literally have known probably 3 people who have died
sure.
from a fall downstairs or have just like changed everything in their life.
I know
It's-
middle-aged adults that passed away due to an accidental fall down the stairs. I mean, I
Isn't
went to
that
high school with them.
incredible?
Right.
It's
Same.
terrifying.
I have a friend from high school. It is it's stairs, it's like you said, ice, it's just, going for a walk, it's passing out,
Yeah.
but a lot of it is balance. I would imagine a lot of that you work on in this program is helping people with balance and paying attention to their environment.
Yep. Exactly.
So tell us a little bit more. So you're hearing the voice, by the way, of Emily Tisdale, who's the executive director for the Center for Aging and Community at the University of Indianapolis. And we're talking about a program they have launched that is called Stepping On, where they partner with the great folks over at Anthem. And so did it surprise you at all about how much Anthem cares about this preventative work?
I loved it. I would say yes, it did surprise me. Just that, they obviously have a interest in making sure that people stay healthy, right? And so knowing that all the statistics we just talked about with fall prevention, and then them saying, let's do this before we have to do anything on the other side of it.
Yeah, here's what I love
So
about that
proactive.
with Anthem, and we do a lot of work with Anthem through Caregiver Way and some other things. We think the world of them, and there are other, managed care entities or insurance companies that
Absolutely.
are doing wonderful work too. But this is my example with Anthem, is that they are this huge machine, but inside the machine are these individual people, these groups of people who care so deeply
Yes.
about the well-being
Mhm.
of the individuals that they're serving.
Yep.
And so I'm really glad that you've had that experience too
Yes.
with them. I just think the world of who they are
yes.
and how they are doing the work that they're doing. So it is not a surprise to me that they've chosen a partnership with CAC. So we're going to have to take a break here in just a minute, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk way more about this program. But if somebody wanted to learn more about the program, is there a place we can direct them?
Yes, we are directing everyone to our lovely team member, Becky Fee,
Oh,
over
she's
at
the
CAC.
best.
So she will tell you a little bit about the program, get you registered, tell you about the different locations that we are hosting. So she is a wonderful first stop.
Okay, so you can call or email Becky Fee at the Center for Aging and Community at 317-791-5930, or you can email her at Fee, F-E-E-R for Rebecca, at uindy.edu. Again, Fee-R at uindy.edu, and Becky can get you hooked into that program. We're going to take a break. We're going to ask Emily to stick around here in the Joy's House studio and for the rest of you, don't go anywhere. We'll be back here in just a moment on Caregiver Crossing.
You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you as a service of Joyce House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. With locations in Broad Ripple and near the University of Indianapolis campus, Joyce House provides exceptional day services for individuals living with a life-altering diagnosis and compassionate support for family caregivers throughout the community. At Joyce House, we believe that everyone deserves to live their best life, regardless of their abilities. Learn more about our Adult Day and caregiver support services by calling us at 317-254-0828 or by visiting joycehouse.org today. All right, stick around, everybody. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after the break.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely, and parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/Wondery.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
We're back on Caregiver Crossing. I'm Noah Taylor.
I'm Tina McIntosh. I'm Terry Stacy.
Surprise! In studio with us, we have Emily Tisdale, who is the Executive Director at the Center for Aging and Community at the University of Indianapolis. Oh,
Mouthful.
a lot of words. And we're here talking about a number of things. If you're not familiar with the Center for Aging and Community, and I wouldn't be surprised if people weren't familiar. Like they might see your end product and work, but they don't know what all, the center does. But they bring us a lot of project management and consultation on things. And one of them is a new program called Stepping On, and it is a fall prevention program. And here's the deal. We talk about it on the show. We hear it from listeners. We see it all the time at Joy's house. Falls change people's lives, and usually not in a good way. I'll tell you what, I broke an ankle. I fell on a hike back in 2020 and had to have reconstruction in my ankle. It still affects me today. Like in the morning when I get up, I have the first step issue where, I kind of limp and look like something's really wrong with me, and it catches sometimes. And I'm like, dag nabbit, that one silly fall changed my life.
That's insane.
And for older adults, what does a fall mean for them?
It leads to so many other things, right? And so this is coming from the days being in the senior communities and seeing kind of the life-altering changes that result from those falls. I think the part that we appreciate about Stepping On is we're creating education and confidence on how to, if you experience a fall, here's what you do next. If you haven't experienced a fall, here are ways that you can avoid it by looking at your environment a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So there's a lot with information that I think people think, oh, well, falls are inevitable, but they're absolutely not. And these Stepping On programs, they have some wonderful statistics about how we can reduce the risk of falls for anyone that participates in the session. So, and I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit later, but 7 weeks and it can change the trajectory of your healthcare.
So this program, Stepping On, this fall prevention program that CAC is a huge part of, is in collaboration with the good folks over at Anthem.
Yes.
And is the program in person?
It is in person.
Okay. And who can come to the program?
So we have several different programs running simultaneously. So for anyone that is an older adult, if they are afraid of falling or have had a fall in the past year, and they live at home, they would be wonderful candidates to participate in the program. So it's 7 weeks in person. We have 2 trained facilitators that run the program, and then we have different subject matter experts that will join us to speak on very specific things. Like, if you're on this medication, it may interact and it will affect your balance, or, affect this or that. So you learn a lot.
Just even hearing that you might be on a medication that affects your
Right.
balance. It
I
might
know.
be, I mean, I've been complaining about my allergies for 2 months, but it affects
Mhm.
my balance. I mean, like,
Sure.
all of these things affect our balance. Okay, so here's something. I saw somewhere something about Walt. Who in the world is Walt?
Oh, Walt is very special.
Oh, I need more information.
Okay, so I'm sitting in the office one day, and a gentleman is, saying hello, hello, walking through our office area, and he finally encounters me in the office. He says, "I'm looking for Becky Fee, who is your contact for Stepping On." And I said, "She is actually at a Stepping On class right now." I said, "Can I help you?" And he says, "Well, I'm Walt. I'm Walt, the fall guy." But
Oh, so Walt's a real human.
he is a real human.
I
and
don't
he
know why
was
I
a
expected some little
participant.
stuffed animal to come in. Like, this is Walt the Fall Guy.
Well, he could have been a mascot, right? If it was a
I
stuffy.
love this.
But Walt is a real person. And, I did not know I was going to walk into a live testimonial when he was rolling through the office. And he literally said, you guys, he said, "They used to call me the fall guy because I used to have falls all the time. But because of Becky, I don't fall anymore. See, they can't call me fall guy."
Stop it.
I know.
No, really, you need to
Oh my
create some
gosh.
little Walt stuffed animals or a
I
bobblehead or
know.
something.
And he is everything that we want Stepping On to continue to do. So he told me after our little meeting, so I showed him around the office. He left a note at Becky's desk. He said, "Will you take a picture of me? And I will show her that I remember all of the moves from Stepping On." So I have pictures of Walt doing his specific exercises. And he says, when he's at the bus stop doing his very active day, that man could run circles around me. He says, "I show everyone at the bus stop these moves so they don't fall."
I love Walt.
Oh, that's
Walt,
beautiful.
I
He's teaching
know.
other fall guys now.
He is. Because he was so passionate about the fact that he was headed to Central Library that evening for an art show. I mean, he's super active. So when you think about talk about bringing it to life, it almost sounds made up. But I was just sitting in my office, no one else was there, and Walt's booming voice walking through saying hello. I had no idea what I was in for. And there he was talking, he was like a living, walking testimonial, excited about sharing this with
Yes.
people at the bus stop. And he said, literally anyone who will listen.
I think Walt needs a t-shirt. Ask me about falls.
Oh my gosh, I will totally make him a shirt.
Or
And he tells
ask me
everyone
about,
Stepping
and then in
On.
parentheses, it says not falling. Ask me about
No.
not
Not
falling.
falling.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what
Walt.
he said? And I said, "I am so glad you're here," and I showed him around. And he literally said, "Thank you for making me feel seen." I was like, stop it.
Yeah, you're like, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
I know. I'm like, this is everything.
So, as you're listening right now, you can understand why Emily, one, is an incredible person that we love dearly, and two, is the right person to be doing the work that she's doing as executive director at the Center for Aging and Community. And so I would say maybe don't just show up at her office, but good job, Walt. But here's what I do want people to understand. This pilot program is starting on July 22nd, and it goes from what time that day, Emily?
So the 7-week program, it's 1 to 3
Okay.
on those days that we hold it.
All right. So it starts July 22nd, 1 to 3 p.m. It is a 7-week workshop that is in person, but you do have to sign up in advance. And so Becky Fee is your contact at the CAC, and her phone number is 317-791-5930, or you can email her at simply fee, F-E-E-R for Rebecca, at und.edu. What else, Emily, before we have to go, we have, in 30 seconds or less, anything else you want to share?
Information is power. And I think you'd be surprised at how much you can control the outcome of your health by taking part in a 7-week free class.
Do it. And maybe Walt will show up. If you're lucky, Walt will be
No.
there.
I would love it if Walt was.
Seriously, Emily, I can't thank you enough for what you're doing and how you do it. I mean,
Thank
I think
you.
that's the part, right? I know you, I know your heart. So it's like, congratulations on the job and the
Thank
role.
you.
And we also want to say thank you to the folks at Anthem for everything that they're
Yes,
doing for
absolutely.
caring for us when we're ill, but
Mhm.
also the preventative stuff, because that is really key.
Yes,
So,
we appreciate Anthem.
all right, we've got to take a break.
We got to take a break. Thank you so much. You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you by Joyce House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. With 20 communities owned, operated, or managed in the Midwest, and more than 40 years of senior living experience, Cardon and Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. Visit cardon.us for more information and to find a community near you. Everybody, stay put. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after the break.
If you're a parent or share a fridge with someone, Instacart is about to make grocery shopping so much easier. Because with family carts, you can share a cart with your partner and each add the items you want. Since between the two of you, odds are you'll both remember everything you need. And this way, you'll never have to eat milkless cereal again. So minimize the stress of the weekly shop with family carts. Download the Instacart app and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Plus, enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 orders. Service fees apply. For 3 orders in 14 days, excludes restaurants.
This is a mini meditation guided by Bombas. Repeat after me. I'm comfy, comfy. I'm cozy, cozy. I have 0 blisters on my toes. Blisters. And that's because I wear Bombas, the softest socks, underwear, and t-shirts that give back. 1 purchased equals 1 donated. Now go to bombas.com/Wondery and use code WONDERY for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/Wondery and use code WONDERY at checkout.
We are back on Caregiver Crossing. I'm Tina McIntosh in studio with Noah Taylor.
Hello.
Do you know what month it is?
Honestly,
Don't
I
say
can't
June.
remember anymore.
We've already established it's June of 2025. You were actually not going to probably know this, except you prepared for the show, so I think maybe you will. It is Aphasia Awareness Month.
I don't know a lot about aphasia, but I really want to know more, and I think it's important that we emphasize awareness about this.
Yeah, so aphasia, aphasia, however you say potato, I think at this point, but aphasia is how we are taught to say it. And June is Aphasia Awareness Month. And if you've never heard of it, you're not alone. And so I do appreciate you You brought the topic to the show, and I do appreciate that, because more than 2 million people in the U.S. live with aphasia. Can you believe that?
That's a lot of people in the U.S.
But just about 85% of Americans don't even know what the word means.
I know. I think a lot of people have never heard of this, and I think that we can do a lot to make it pretty prevalent.
Yeah, so here's why the month was created. Again, 2 million people in the U.S. live with aphasia, but about 85% of Americans don't even know what the word means or have never even heard the word. But I promise the majority have met somebody living with aphasia and just don't know it and make poor assumptions about why that's happening. So really what it is, it's a communication disorder, and it impairs a person's ability to process that language, but it doesn't affect their intelligence. So think about that for just a minute. If I have aphasia, then my intelligence is the same as it's always been, but I can't communicate my words properly. And so it happens a lot of times after a stroke or a brain injury. And I mean, Noah, I know since you've been working at Joy's House, you've seen it too. The number of people who have traumatic brain injuries has increased. Now, maybe it's because they're diagnosed more often. Maybe it's because we just have a riskier behavior, or, that trend is just up, but it is happening.
All the things in between.
Yeah. And so a lot of times aphasia happens after, again, either a stroke or the brain injury, and it makes it hard to speak, to understand, to read right. So it really affects the communication, which tells me it has to do with where it happens in the brain, but I am not a medical professional on that. So let's just pretend I didn't say
important
that.
disclaimer.
For
Yes.
real. So people with aphasia know what they want to say. They just can't always find the words. And it might come out in what seems like gibberish.
Or choppy, yeah.
Yeah, like words that you're like, "Why?" I asked you how you're doing, and you just said there was a ballerina in the living room, and it's like that doesn't track for me. It doesn't really track for you either. The
Right.
words just got kind of jumbled on the way from the brain, out of the mouth. And so, when we don't know that someone has aphasia, it's we're going to assume that maybe they're confused or they're sick or they're not paying attention. They're ADHD, they're bouncing all over the place, and they're not paying attention to what I'm saying. But really, they're still right there and wanting to connect.
And trying to communicate. Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
It sounds so hard.
All right. I see that you've got in front of you the ways that you can recognize aphasia and
so
maybe
there's
connect better.
a few signs that we took here. So they may speak in short or incomplete sentences, or even use words incorrectly, like you were saying earlier. They might pause a lot when talking. Maybe seem to understand some things, but not 100%. And then here's some things that help when speaking to somebody who has aphasia. One, speak slowly and clearly, one idea at a time.
I want to say something to that. Sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt you. I just was like, yes, let's
This is
discuss.
one idea. Let's discuss it.
Let's discuss
Yes.
the one idea.
Yeah.
I see what you did there. Speaking slowly and clearly doesn't mean treating somebody like they're not there.
Oh my gosh.
Think about it. I mean, we talk about this. Think about, you've done this when there's somebody who's hearing impaired. And so you start to talk louder and like this. And it's like, no.
It's really not helpful.
Don't do that.
No, you need to speak clearly is I think what's most important, not just loudly.
Right. Speak clearly. Look somebody in the eyes. Maybe approach them from the front. Don't sneak up and try and shout something at them. So yes, don't treat somebody like they're ignorant, no matter what, but just eye contact, face on, speak clearly, and maybe a little bit slower. One idea at a time, my friends, is key for anybody that you perceive as not being able to understand or communicate. Because when we throw 5 things at somebody, I get confused.
Right. I think that's important for communication, regardless of what diagnosis you might have. Even in any relationship, it's important to, communicate clearly.
Amen, brother.
Yes. Another one we have here is to give extra time for replies. Please don't finish their sentences unless they ask. This is something that really
bothers you.
Really irks me.
Bothers you?
Yes.
Irks you?
Yes. Irks me, bothers me. All of the things. Oh my gosh. And then use gestures, pictures, or write things down. Symbolism can be helpful. And then most of all, be patient. Not perfect.
I
take the
almost
time we
wore a
need.
shirt today that says "Be real, not perfect."
Oh, that would have been perfect
It
for
would
this.
have been.
But can we talk about the shirt that you have on instead today?
Go ahead.
Tina's shirt says, "I love family caregivers." It's such a
do.
cute shirt.
Thanks. I do. I was finishing your sentence earlier on purpose, by the way. I don't want anybody to think how
I
rude.
know.
I this is all really, really important stuff. I have this in our bathroom at home. We have this cork board, and on the cork board, like right now, it's a lot of graduation pictures or weddings that we have coming up. Like I just, around Christmas time, it's Christmas or Christmas cards and all that. Sorry, my allergies are getting the best of me today. But I also have a couple little sayings or reminders. So when somebody is a guest and comes in, it's a really great talking point in our bathroom. I know. But one of the things is when it comes to communication, 5% of how we communicate are our words. So even as you're listening to this show, 5% of how you're going to feel when you walk away has to do with the words we're using. The rest is intonation and body language.
Yeah.
So that's hard for this radio show because you can't pick up on our body
Right.
language.
You can't see our faces. You don't know our hand movements.
Right. Like
what's
right now I'm
happening here.
pointing, right?
Yeah.
I'm pointing at us like with my hands. You don't know that. So hopefully we do a good job with the intonation part of things and giving you good words, obviously. But when you're communicating with somebody else, that is key to remember. It's not so much what you say, it's how you say
How
it.
you say
truly.
it.
So,
yes.
Taking away from this, really knowing the word aphantasia can change how you see and support somebody else. And we just want you to show up. We want you to slow down. We want you to stay present. And a little understanding goes a long way. And just a caution to not make up our stories about people. So, if you want to give any input on the show or you have a question for us, call us at 317-254-0828. I'll just close this out really quick. We want to thank our folks at Cardon and Associates. We think the world of you and appreciate the work you do for long-term care for so many people. And so I think we got to skip at this point. We're going to bounce. We're out.
Until next time, take good care of each other.